Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to RLAfterShock, the longest-running independent podcast for everything that is Rocket League esports in the European scene, possibly even the best podcast in the Rocket League European esports scene, or the esports scene in general, depending on how things go in the next couple of days. But we'll talk about that in more details in a moment's time here. I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Digital Bacon. Only a number of days after our end-of-the-year episode, we're getting started with our start-of-the-year episode. Very quickly into that, obviously, because we've only been given a few weeks before the next qualifier run. Bacon, obviously, how was your Christmas? How was your New Year? How's everything been so far with you in 2020?
Yeah, it's been good. I have completely used that off time to ruin my sleep schedule this morning. I got to sleep at 10 a.m., woke up at 2 because I'm trying to, I've realized how bad it is, so I'm getting myself down for, the next couple of days. The way I reset sleep cycles is, just do 3-4 hour sleeps and then get back into a proper schedule, because trying to do, all-nighters just ruins yourself. Imagine if I didn't go to sleep and, this was me up on 40 hours.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
this podcast
mate, nah.
will be god-awful. So, yeah, I'm trying to fix myself this now podcast, before we get back to work.
This podcast already is god-awful, but you know what? That's not what the people tend to agree about, as is case in point from earlier on during this week.
I don't think anyone in Rocket League agrees on anything, to be honest.
No, not after what we've seen so far this year, and we're talking in a bit more detail about all that shit. For the most part, today's episode is going to be all about rumours. We've got rumours and roster moves and all sorts of sources coming up the arse and telling us everything that's going on right now in the Rocket League scene. Some of the stuff you may be aware of, some things you might not have heard of, and certain things that we certainly want to break to you here live on the 58th episode of RLAfterShock. But first, I want to start things off on a bit of a fun note here with the news. And the first little piece of housekeeping is the r/Rocket League Esports Awards. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who don't follow the subreddit, which you really should do, I think, honestly. It's like a nice little hub for all the content that sort of goes on.
It's actually a good esports subreddit for once. It's amazing. You go to CS and they should be jealous of what we have. But that's not hard.
Take that quote and carry it into the mailbag for today, and we'll see how well that goes. But a bunch of different awards going out: Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, Series of the Year, Caster of the Year, and shit. I'm glad that we didn't make that cut, Bacon, because I think we could have won Caster of the Year.
All the casters were all CS casters. I remember. I don't even think Shogun got on there.
No, Shogun was top of the list.
Okay, thank you.
And if he doesn't receive it, I'll be pissed.
All fair things. The caveat there is where he's only had 3 casts this year, if I'm correct. 3 events. It's easy win because everyone's so scarce. Everyone's so used to the other guys. And when Shogun comes back in, even though he was there, I was quite sloppy in that, you're like, thank fuck you're back. We missed you so much, and you're incredible. And it was that point of, we remember me and you both saying he'd gone away. He spent however many months not casting anything, comes back and seemed better. Now I don't know if that's just the time gap sort of thing that you get rose tinted glasses or anything, but he's on form and he's definitely well worth it.
I still established that Shogun is the best caster we've had in the RLCS. And it's not just because of rose-tinted glasses, because there's actually a mechanical reason as to the way he constructs himself on a broadcast. He is legit. He is fucking legit. But I'm not here to influence your votes, at least not when it comes to that particular topic. I'm here to influence your votes on the Community Group Project of the Year Award, because if you go to the subreddit thread and you take a look at that grouping, you'll notice a familiar little name in there. We got nominated, Bacon. AfterShock somehow made the list of 5 nominations, including Rocket League Oceania, Rocket League Garage, Octane.gg, and Liquipedia, the big motherfuckers of that list. And we're on it. That's awesome. I am really fucking, after such a great year as well for us, Bacon, in 2019. I wasn't sure if we were gonna actually, if we were gonna turn heads in this kind of a way when we first started the show. And here we are getting nominated for a fucking award after our first full year. That's pretty awesome. So I kind of want to take this moment in in the show to plug shit and say, listen, if you do appreciate anything that we've done, then Reddit/r/RLAfterShock, go to that thread. Anyone can vote. You have to vote in every single category, but if you make the vote count for RLAfterShock, I will love you forever. Although, let's be real here, Bacon. Wikipedia probably going to take that victory anyway. I think we can push.
And Wikipedia definitely deserve that. Like, that's what we're going to say. We're just there going, we don't want money for anyone. We just want you to spread it out, and this is like good for us. So we appreciate all of you because it's you lot at home that make RLAfterShock worth doing and make it grow. So it's awesome. I
think we can push for second place though. So I'm going to just be like, yo, come on.
Wait, are we saying we should do like Great British politics and go for the tactical vote right here? Don't go for any of those up ones. Go for RLAfterShock because that's the tactical vote. We know how well it went, you know?
Do you want to overthrow Wikipedia? Can you really let this man sit in number 10? Can you really let Lucas in power here in the Rocket League scene? I say
one man
no.
cannot have all that power. He does 10,000 updates on Wikipedia a second, I hear. And no, that cannot be tolerated.
It's tyrannical, damn it.
It's calculated.
Rocket League great again. But in all seriousness, please, if you have enjoyed any of the show or have enjoyed the stuff that we've been doing, 2020 is going to be a really big year for us, I think, especially with the projects that we've just meted and announced with our internal staff things. We're making some big moves in the year 2020 as well. So if we hit second place this year, then I think next year, I think we can go for the top spot, Bacon, based off what we're doing. But again, thank you very much for nominating us so far. And if we can get those votes in, I'll be a very fucking happy bunny. Right. Let's get on to some real news then. Obviously, the theme of the show is going to be roster rumors up the arse. And in particular, we're going to go for some confirmed rosters before we get into the Rumour Mill itself. Starting off in the Oscillon camp. Obviously, Oscillon known for his time playing alongside some of the greats like Fairy Peaks, played with Scrub Killa as well during the 1K Cup, was one of his most prolific sort of appearances. Also on Method before he was unceremoniously kicked. Also on the team that went on to become AS Monaco before during Montreal.
Unceremoniously kicked.
Where he was unceremoniously kicked. And now he's playing with Blurry and Alex here to make a run into the rival series before chances are he gets unceremoniously kicked. Okay, obviously we don't know what their situation is, but Blurry, Alex, Oscillon, a confirmed team for the rival series. One of the ones that stood out actually to us, to be honest. Like, you know, again, we don't tend to pay too much attention to the teams that sort of come out of the woodwork and just say, hey, we're going for these runs, because like a lot of them don't tend to be relevant, but actually one of the very few ones that are relevant here, Bacon.
Yeah, you look at this lineup and you think, like, 'cause at the moment you get a lot of these old players. Like when we come through, and we said last week about Greasy picking up both Ixo and Breezy, and we were just there like, yeah, Greasy might be a little bit washed, but he's still legit. You look at this right now, and we didn't really see Alex161 last season because he didn't make it through. But you still look at these players and go, this is a strong side. People better be careful. Oscillon is a great RLRS talent, and Blurry is that new hungry player for it. We've seen what he can do in the past alongside other players like Ty Lacto. And here, where he's got two players that can essentially be that sort of more heavy rotation, more solid core to the team, he is just going to be ball chasing like crazy, and that's where he's most powerful. So it should be a good line.
Yeah, no. Blur is one of those UK talents we talked about, like, you know, in the vein of like Breezy and Ixo, obviously. You know, we talked about them, and Virtuoso, in fact, to a greater extent. You know, we've talked about these guys being, hey, they're from the UK, they're doing not too bad. They're actually managing to make some serious noise. They could be RLRS contenders for whatever reason. For Blurry, it hasn't quite worked out in the way he's wanted it to. But I do want to ask, like, in terms of the roster as a whole, do we think that this is a team that is going to be among sort of our ceilings, among sort of like our teams to watch, essentially?
So this might go into a little bit of a mailbag question later on, of course. I reckon they'll get seeded high because of the names on it. And I think they will make RLRS, but I don't think they'll do anything out of the ordinary. I reckon you're looking at probably middle of the table to bottom of the table. You know, that sort of between 5th to 7th, 8th spot, I reckon, in league play, just from what we've seen with other teams coming on in now. But this should be a solid team. Like, if you were to do a prediction show of like which it'd be 7 teams would make it through to RLRS, this should be one that's an easy sort of safe pick.
Yeah, safe pick certainly tends to be the thing that sort of comes to my head when it comes to talking about this team. But we'll talk more in detail about them when we come to do our big Rival Series play-in prediction show, which we do every single time the Rival Series play-ins roll around. I think they'll make it that far at the very least. You know,
we do
the
our
open qualifiers.
That's it.
Yeah, the open qualifiers.
We say who will most likely go through and give like 10 teams each.
Yeah, the open qualifiers are pretty basic. I think that a team like this can make it through that much at least. But yes, there you go. Oscillon, Blurry, Alex, potentially a new Rival Series team. We'll talk about, again, more details in the coming few weeks. Something we'll talk about more details in coming up later tonight, though, is Scrub Killa and his situation with the RLCS team Renault Vitality, because a few days ago, he went on stream and basically said, today is the end of my contract. It was clipped by everybody, posted up by Liquipedia on Twitter, as appropriately enough. Scrub's out, basically. At this point, it is confirmed, especially with the rumors surrounding, Renault Vitality with what they want to do. Like, this basically confirms, I think, the alpha to Vitality move.
Yeah, and the one thing that surprised me most of this is just how quickly that contract ran out. It's been, a year and a half now. That's crazy to think how long it's been. And this, for Scrub, actually, is fantastic in the sense of it's at the end of his contract. No one's buying him out. So he's a free pickup, which Scrub's a great player. This is going to be like everyone fighting over Scrub, or if they've got a free spot on their team, they're going to be trying to fight over Scrub right now. So he should be in a comfortable place to get onto an RLCS team in this coming season, because we know there's a little bit of a shuffle going on at the moment. And so he should get the pick of the litter there.
Well, again, we have more details in regards to Scrub Killa, of which you can find out more at the end of the show. We do our big rumor roundup. Yes. Yeah, we're talking about that in a lot more detail. So I don't want to go into too in depth with this whole situation, obviously, because we're talking about all these moves in greater depth, because officially nothing's confirmed till the roster lock, which is still a couple of weeks away. But at this point, we can get a general indication of where players are going to be going based off the rumors, based off what's been going on. So we're going to bring you that big roundup later on during the night. That's certainly going to be our focus. But for now, Scrub Killa, for all intents and purposes, is off of Renault Vitality. Not officially confirmed by the Vitality boys, though, at the moment. They're playing pretty quiet with that one on their social media game. A team that's not is TSM, who tweeted out a couple days after Scrub made that announcement that Alpha and Jake are out, further substantiating the idea that Alpha is going to Renault Vitality, guys. Like, it feels like such the right move at the moment, because, with the way that they wanted to construct their French sort of organization, a French team seems like the most viable thing. They've wanted to do a French team for the longest time, and here we go. This is the opportunity right now. They've got one of the best players in Europe about to go to potentially one of the best teams in Europe after this move. Like, that's fucking, so massive, essentially, Bacon.
Yeah, you can see like every little step was put in place to get to the final form. That is Renault Vitality coming up with Alpha, and this is such a scary team for two reasons. We'll probably go into it in a future week, what with the Olympics, the ESL Olympic Open, that coming up. But this is going to be a full French roster, and we've seen what pick up teams from the same nationality can do against teams that have been stuck together. Just a little hint to it. Last night with the AMD Cup, you had Tigray, Freaky, and it's going to annoy me, the last lad. I'm just going to say Alex losing off to Minx. Minx, definitely a bubble seam team, but where they play together all the time, they're able to take down RLCS players. And that's just because of, teamwork together. If you know each other inside out, your rotation is so much better and you can win out that way. Now this, where it's an RLCS team and it's a French team like that, I'm calling it now. France is winning the Olympic Open, we're done. We've got new overlords in Rocket League.
If this is the squad that represents France, abso-fucking-lutely they are, man. Ferry and K-Dop have been looking so consistent together, and to have Alpha, who's been looking consistent on his own, this could be the wombo combo duo with the third man finisher that Method strived on for so long, essentially.
The only team that could not only topple it would be Reciprocity, Ferro and Chaussette with Casio. That is the only other chance I could see.
Ferrer and Chaussette with Casio.
Saying from France to topple that is the top
okay, right.
French
I was going to say,
and we don't know if that'll work, really.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, with Reciprocity, we haven't heard anything about any sort of moves from them. I don't think they're interested in making.
They should go in as Monaco.
They could go as Monaco. That would. I don't know. What do you think about that one, Bacon? Go on.
Well, sorry, what was it from Tractor? They should go as Monaco.
No, I was saying they should go as like Monaco, as like a sort of joke that Monaco is like the one little city.
Oh, I thought you were being serious. Okay,
no, I'm joking.
Bad.
I'm joking around.
That so fucking confused me. Again, if you want to hear Tractor's comments, listen on into the podcast. The director's cut.
This motherfucker just cutting us up left, right, and centre, trying to give us like a serious conversation.
You need to make yourself unmuted on stream.
Yeah, you do, man. Like I think the live viewers are missing out on so much with this shit. But I digress. Back to the whole Alpha thing. Like again, this heavily suggests that Alpha is going to Renault Vitality. At this point, I think you can be about 70-80% confident in that much without seeing an official sort of announcement at that point. Alpha should be on his way to Renault Vitality. I don't see anything else going on. I don't hear anything else about his part. Alpha should be on his way in.
There is no reason not. There is only one org that I can think of. Two orgs that I could think of that would be willing to pay to break Alpha's TSM contract, of course, Vitality, and then the other would be G2, but we've not heard anything about G2,
No chance on G2, I don't think.
No, exactly. There's no chance on that. No one else has the money and the will to actually want to break that shit, because that'd be a heavy buyout course.
The other component to this, obviously, is Jake leaving TSM as their coach. This one actually has a legitimate reason because, despite the fact that we basically know at this point that Alpha's going to Vitality, it's not been officially confirmed. No one said it. With Jake, though, TSM straight up said, due to visa issues, we're parting ways with Jake, which... I mean, I'm not, honestly, at this point, I've seen so many roster issues with, visas that I'm just not fucking fazed by this at all. It's just typical to me. It's nothing to do with Rocket League as the scene as a whole. It's everything to do with the landscape of countries, essentially. If you want to bring a player in from another region, you have to get the appropriate competing visas, P1s in America, whatever the equivalent is in whatever nation it is. I don't know where TSM are based. I know that obviously Jake would want to go ahead and move to Europe because of that. And it seems they weren't able to secure a visa. I think they had him in Europe for a little bit, so I assume probably he had a temporary visa and couldn't get an extension to it. So, again, that's just it's just so fucking typical at this point. Why is it that this is still a problem in esports as a whole, let alone Rocket League?
Yeah, it just seems like the industry is not being recognised in an official sense by governments and that to back it, which just seems silly because it's an entertainment industry.
No, sorry to butt in again, but I think it was only very recently where it was I think it was Germany or something, the first country to have an official esports visa.
Okay, so Tractor's brought up a good point there actually about the about Germany being the first sort of a country to introduce an esports visa. Which is great progress in that one country. But I don't think TSM are based in Germany, though, so therefore it'll be a bit more of a difficulty. And I think there's a few more sort of intricacies surrounding that, because just because you have a visa in one country doesn't mean you can just move into that country and say, hey ho. I think you've got to be you've got to have some certain sort of German roots.
This, you need more of an EU visa as such. The European Union needs to step in and not just bring this in for esports, but just the whole of the entertainment industry as a whole, to just make the accessibility there so easy, not just for, of course, Australians like this, but Americans to then come across, do work in whichever entertainment space, do it in Germany and then use that same visa to go over to France. Of course, this is a topic which is way beyond us, realistically.
This is something we really need to...
This is hard once again.
This is the kind of thing where if RLAfterShock was a political podcast, then we'd be down to have a talk about this all day. But we're an esports podcast, so it's well out of our remit. It is unfortunate though, but Jake's impact, I don't think was felt from TSM all that much towards the end of it though. Very, very fucking, very, very poor season from TSM in the last season. They had some very poor LAN outings in the DreamHack circuit as well. I'm not sure how much you can pin that down to Jake individually, but as a coach, it felt like the whole team was disheveled, and to me, that sort of feels like it is sort of a team basis thing. rather than just it being on Drake alone. So I'm not sure how much his departure will affect them, but I think we have to see going forward about this, because there's some other coaches that could be swinging around around the scene, Bacon. There's an open opportunity, I think, in the TSM camp.
Yeah, there definitely is. And that just near enough backs out. I think coaches in Rocket League need to focus more on the mental, the positivity and motivation behind teams rather than strategy, because we've still got a case where players don't really listen to coaches. Comments from, like, say, Astro about Verge. You remember saying, oh, not allowed to do this, because players don't really listen to coaches because players know better. Why are you a coach? Because you're worse than being a player. That's how it's seen. Those that can't do, teach. But that just basically means that the mental aspect you can see.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So
that just shows why people like, say, Gregan on Vitality has just been instrumental to that team, because he's been able to be very objective about that side. He's their friend, but also this is a job. He's got to be able to look at, see how this team goes and how to manage it, and then also try and motivate those players, trying to keep them on track. And that's what Rocket League needs. It's not your 1 minute timeout in CS where the coach turns around and goes, okay, guys, I've been looking over your shoulders. This is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. You don't get that in Rocket League. There is no breaks. With the coaching rules we saw in the World Championship, where the coaches can talk to their players essentially in between games, we might see a little bit more of that. But yeah, you're kind of right. There is no real equivalent to that from a coach's standpoint. So. Yeah, again, the bottom line is that there is a bit of an opening for TSM, I think, to work on that. Jake will not be in that position, though. He's out, as is Alpha, to Renault Vitality. Right. The big question there, though, is Yummy for reciprocity. Is he going to run into similar issues,
Ooh. I don't know. I think we have to wait on Yummy.
I don't think Yummy's moved across to France yet.
I think we'll have to wait on how that's going down with Yummy. I don't think there's anything. We haven't heard of anything that's going on with Yummy's visa or anything like that. If he is going to move over or anything, again, we'll keep us updated if that ever turns into a possibility. But for now, we'll just move on and talk about our final official story, which is that of a lot being LFT. Can I just say, by the way, this tweet is the fucking most genius tweet in the world, because rather than just LFT, just straight up and out, and the blank picture or the standard sort of emo shit that fucking players come out with, no, he's actually been quite funny about it. I have to say that this was a really good tweet. I really enjoyed this. And again, it goes to further some of the rumors that we've heard about Mousesports in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, for me, this was, and everyone within the Discord and that was like, what the shit is a Ludacris's Frontier's mother? And everyone was there going, what does he mean by this? What do the numbers mean, Mason? Oh, he's capitalized on me. Oh, he's LFT. Okay.
Here's the thing. It's like, I found it so funny. I just looked at it. I was like, that's so a lot. That's so a lot to do some stupid shit like this. And everyone in Discord, which you can join by typing ! Discord in the Twitch chat, by the way, they just had no fucking clue. No one had a fucking clue. It was hilarious. Just I don't get it. I don't fucking get it.
Drama RL tweet, which we'll get onto a little bit later.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be real fun.
That was so dumb by you, Jay. I loved it so much.
Yeah, that was the one that I fucked up. So I got my fair dues,
actually, so that people at home can see. It's fine.
Back to a lot. Back to a lot. He's LFT. He's out. Mousesports are looking for a third. They were playing their cards pretty close to their chest as far as we knew before the end of the year. Now it seems like they're going ahead with some certain roster moves with a lot being out. And last episode, Bacon, you were saying you didn't want a lot to go. What are they losing now that a lot's been officially removed from the team?
It's more just the stability of the team. You got to think where now you've only got 2 weeks to really scrim. And, at this point, it had been about 3 weeks from when they were trying out the new lad joining the roster. That's a very short period of time. I would much rather them to continue with a lot and work on it. But I can understand where they're going from with this move. And looking at who's replacing a lot, yeah, I can dig this. I think it's going to be a good bloody team. And finally, Mouse is strong. But last week I did say that, no, I'd rather them stick safe. But clearly there might have been something going wrong in the back end. I have no idea. It's a weird one.
I took a little bit of the Christmas New Year period out to watch some of the matches beforehand, and I could see a lot of mistakes being made by the Mousesports camp, from the end of their season run. So I feel like maybe change was on the horizon for them. You know, like I feel like, you know, the stability sacrifice is something that I think might be needed for Mousesports at this stage, because when you have such amazing talents on that side, there's no way you can let 4 losses in a row kill your chances at a fucking, you know, world championship. Like, it's not like some bullshit level of you lose on one day, that's the end of your season. No, they lost 4 series in a row. Like that's not acceptable.
One to go to the
exactly. Of all 4 series, they had to get fucking one of them, and then they would have been. But no, all 4 lost. Like, that's just not acceptable in my opinion.
There's a great meme of just the like security guard like, barely patting them down like as they go past.
Yeah, that
was the best one of the year, I think.
I think that GIF may be nominated for another Reddit award. I
think.
Again, the thing is that, like, you know, I was on your side going out of 2019, but here in 2020 I'm flipping the switch. I've changed my opinion. Like, you know, it's just it's not acceptable. They should have made Worlds. The fact that they didn't probably meant that some changes were on the horizon. And as you say, you know, the interesting element is who's going to be that player that joins them. We do have the information on that, but that's coming up later on in the show. For now, our news section is over because I do want to move like onto that whole situation, but we've got a little bit more content to sort of talk about before we get to that point. So I think we should just move quickly onto our mailbag questions, which of course our lovely Discord community have opted to send to us going into the new year, starting things off in 2020 on the right foot with the great community interaction that will get us that Reddit award. So if you want to get involved in the mailbag segment, then of course the links are in the show notes and video descriptions of every single episode of the podcast as usual, and as will always be the case going forward in 2020. If you're live in the Twitch chat right now, !Discord, click that link and join us and ask us a question that you could potentially see get answered live on an episode of RLAfterShock. We got 2 questions today. The first comes in from our boy Jens, officially promoted from basic bitch to trusted shitposter in the roles on Reddit. Discord, excuse me. Yeah. And he just straight up asks, should Reddit be cancelled at this point? This is obviously in reference to a lot of shit, a lot of shit that's happened on the subreddit to. Yeah, like...
How can Blurry be kicked off Barca when he was the MVP of last season? He was not the MVP. Fucking... They don't know shit. He was their problem last season. We talked about this in so much length before, and no, it's just fanboys are fucking fanboys, aren't they?
What was it? Earlier, I think it was yesterday or so, someone actually posted a thread saying, we need the stupid opinions in order to have good discussion on this.
I love that, yes.
I have to fucking disagree with that straight up and out, because
there is nothing that brings us together more than pointing out idiots. That is just how it works. Because people just want someone to laugh at, and unfortunately it's got to be the one person that has got a misinformed opinion that gets laughed at, and everyone else has come together and joined, like, mocking. That is just how humans, especially Brits, are formed, because we're assholes. That is it.
That's the thing. It's like, I just... Look, right, that post in particular was, like, you know, serious. It wasn't trying to say, oh, we all need to laugh at the dumb idiots, essentially. Like, but like the truth is that these dumb idiots cause quite a bit of, like, sort of disdain, essentially, even from our part. You know, like, I never thought that the Rocket League Esports subreddit was as stupid as the CS:GO subreddit, for example, which I spend a lot of time on both because I work in both games. But it's like, as of late, you know, I've seen a lot more stupidity coming in from the, from several individuals. And it's like, how is this contributing anything? There was a guy who was legitimately posting, why should anyone care about funding the bubble scene? It's like, and his post was dead serious, by the way. He was going at people. He was having some serious arguments with people on that thread. I was lucky I didn't actually get caught in that crossfire, although I would have absolutely loved to have a legitimate debate with him about it. I don't know how like successful that would have been, but the point being is that, like, look, how is that helpful to anything? We've already had this conversation. We've already explained why it's the case. It's like, you know, you could go into one of those threads and ask a legitimate question and not have to be so, like, offensive about it. You don't have to be so aggressive about it, saying, why should anyone care about funding the bubble scene? It's like, we've already explained this. I have to explain it to you again because you weren't paying attention last time. The misinformation is something that's, okay, fair enough. You want to post a question about it and say, like, why should we do this? Why should we do that? Fair play. But it's like, there's some people that are just being absolutely dumbasses about it. And then that brings us back to the question, should Reddit just be cancelled? No, actually, I don't think Reddit should be cancelled, because whilst the masses themselves are like, while the masses themselves can be quite stupid, this is the last safe haven we have for esports discussion in Rocket League,
it's just
unfortunately.
the vocal minority. It happens in every single camp, no matter what community you're part of. The vocal minority always shout out, one thing I've seen tons and tons of times before is that Okalid guy, the Middle Eastern lad, and it's like, why isn't he playing 3v3 in an RLRS, or why hasn't the RLCS team picked him up when he's the best ones player in the world? And it's like, that is ones. This is freeze. There is a big, big difference in Rocket League. Yes, you're a car,
but it's
hitting the ball into a net.
Here's the thing.
It's not a perfect translation over.
How have we got to a point where stuff like that is making the front page of the sub? Like the point of the upvote downvote system is to promote quality content. It's something I was saying the other day when we did our discussion and criticism on casters in the RLCS. Like, the one thing Reddit rewards the most is consensus. So if you agree on something, you agree to it. So why did this whole Okalid thing get to the front of the page?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I actually am now going to agree with Jens purely on one point. Why did we have to separate out Rocket League and Rocket League esports on Reddit? Why are they not on
That's
the same
more of a
thing?
historical thing, though, because Rocket League...
but I'm just saying, the Rocket League main Reddit, I'm just going to quickly bring up on my screen now so I can quote the number. But the Rocket League main Reddit has got 616,000 subscribers to the Reddit forum, the r/Rocket League. Rocket League esports has got 33.3 thousand. I'm just saying, why are we not just putting this all into one big one? That's the only point I can see right now, and it just
it's a weird sort of historical thing. Because the reason why the esports subreddit got started was because anything esports related got buried on the main subreddit. Because again, it rewards consensus. It rewards the popular main thinking. And what's the most popular thing in Rocket League is the casual community. What's most popular with the casual community? It's the fucking GIF highlight, essentially.
Musty flicks, yo.
I'm here on the Rocket League subreddit right now, and it's like, but you've got just VReddit, GIF cat, VReddit, GIF cat. All these things are sort of like, I scored one in Rule 1. Oh, you score it. Squishy save goal. I've been trying to do one of these for a while. It just be like that sometimes. Basic 3v3 rotation. Epic. This isn't fucking quality content. This is just, some douche that managed to get lucky, essentially, score something on their on their their Champ 2 ranked, clip it because they had GIF cat running or they had a GIF your game running, post it on the subreddit, and now they've got free karma. That's not quality content, and that's the problem with the main subreddit. It's just that whenever we did try to do stuff like editorials, news pieces, promoting the esports stuff, it just got pushed down to the bottom because everyone was like, this is not a GIF. This is not quality content in what is their limited opinion. So that's why the esports community broke off and did their own subreddit. So in that respect, I can understand why why it exists, but the problem is that it creates another problem in that everyone's got a cognitive dissonance thinking that their opinion is important, which maybe that applies to us at a certain level of the things here, Bacon, but it's like, then that gives rise to stupid shit like that,
Yeah, so the whole Reddit be cancelled? Nah, we're good. Here's
the thing. Reddit should be cancelled when we can find a new forum for legitimate discussion in the Rocket League esports space, where good discussion is promoted above having a popular opinion.
I'm trying to think, isn't there an app or something which is all meant to be doing exactly that?
Yeah, it's called fucking Reddit. It's sure.
I mean, the Reddit app is trash, but go on.
Yeah. And no, we're not launching the Aftershock forums. I have not got that many resources, dude. I'm sorry, Lucas.
Didn't they close down the actual official Sarnix forums?
Because everyone was on fucking Reddit.
Because that's what everyone back in the day would just use, was the Sarnix forums. I remember playing in tournaments just on their own little forums on the website now, and it's just it's great fun, small little community.
Anyway, the answer to this is a much more complicated sort of thing, because again, I see why the subreddit exists, I see why Reddit exists as a whole, but we need to be able to decipher the legitimate people who are trying to ask questions and trying to decide and trying to have a good argument about things versus the people who are just being idiots for the sake of being idiots, essentially. And that's the only way we can really progress with that. Don't cancel Reddit, but for fuck's sake, cancel Reddit is what I'm trying to say. Right. Let's move on. John, a.k.a. Always, the man who's going to rig the results for us in that Reddit Awards to give us the top spot in the group.
Give you one silver ding dong coin, whatever they are. I can't remember on Reddit.
A silver ding dong coin. Is that what
I don't know. You give awards. I don't. What awards?
Reddit gold, Reddit silver. It's literally just give gold and give silver at that point.
Yeah, you give them your ding dong coins. That's it.
John asks, given RLRS qualifier lock is upcoming, I think a little piece on seeding might be interesting. I don't know how to ask one big question, so I'll just bring a ton of little ones or little questions or concerns up. So, how do we seed teams when there's literally just a handful of weeklies to go off of, or how do weeklies even get seeded? And in this off-season, literally 0 results versus RLCS teams to use as a measuring stick. How far should name value carry you if you've got no results? If there's a lack of results if there's a lack of results for a team as a 3-man unit, should people count results from the 2/3 of the roster? And does seeding even matter? It could be interpreted as a group of people's power rankings, and number 1 seed does not automatically mean qualification. So let's have the big discussion about this one. Let's just go point to point, and then I'm going to wrap up everything by giving an alternative which circumvents all these fucking issues from the outset. Oh no, yeah, we'll save that for last. Yes, so, at the end of this one. Let's talk about first, how do we seed teams when there's literally just a handful of weeklies to go off of? The problem. Sorry,
there is just name value.
At that point, it kind of has to be because again, we're seeing this. We talked about it last week in the sense that the bubble scene itself has got no support. We've got great support at the grassroots community scene, especially with all the $50, $100 weeklies that we've seen crop up as of late. But when it comes to prestigious tournaments that have value to a player who's above that level, there's nothing. And again, those players are going to be the ones that are competing the most, or are going to be the best sort of guys to make a run for it. If you've got a team that consistently dominates over and over in every single weekly cup that you can find, everything from Nice Cactus to fucking Drama Alert, if you can find a team that first place every single one, fair play. Give them some credence for that, and especially if they can do it in such a dominant fashion. That does happen from time to time.
There will be the Drama Alert with Rocket Kingdom Cups coming up, and then Nice Cactuses. If you're going for RLRS, you have to play in those because that's the only way to get your name out there for the seeders to come on in and just go, oh yeah, I know them. Let's put them there. You're not going to get as high as some of the bigger names. I can imagine that Greasy, Ixo, and Breezy lineup is probably going to be one of a top 4 seed straight there because they've got names behind them. Greasy's a previous world champion. But if you're coming through and you're just okay, how do I help myself out? Because near enough, if you're in the bottom 20, for example, you're pretty much dead on arrival because you're going up against the top teams. So just try and play in those tournaments. You might get picked up your MMR as well, because if they don't get picked up by a name that quite often, it's just going to be an MMR seeder. So your freeze MMR will help for that as well. And it's just play the game, play in every tournament you can, play the game as much as you can, just to raise everything up.
Yeah, I mean, again, you've got to take everything into account when it comes to that. But the problem is that the players competing at that level are so low, unfortunately, and again, it is a problem that we have to highlight with the bubble scene support as a whole. If we had weekly tournaments or monthly tournaments that supported something like, a $5,000 prize pool, that would be my ultimate sort of thing right there. Have a tournament sponsor that sponsors $5,000 a week, sorry, that would violate some Psionics rulings very quickly. Sorry, $5,000 a month to support bubble scene support, because I think that is the best way to sort of go about things, and the best way to
sort of give a platform. $225 a day for 4 days of the week. If we had a sponsor come in and do that, don't get me wrong, it'd probably be throwing money away, but that's really what the scene needs to keep that.
I think, again, I mentioned it before. If you can find the right combination of sponsors, promotion, and budget, then you can make it profitable. It's possible, Again, otherwise, Loot Bet wouldn't fucking exist. Loot Bet CS is what I'm talking about. If because that shit runs like a profitable tournament on 3,000 viewers a stream. It's nothing. It's nothing in comparison to what the big boys are pulling at the top end of the Counter-Strike space. But here I am making my living off of doing those kind of tournaments, and it's well, we've got to be doing something right? Everyone's making money. The sponsors have supported 5 seasons so far. The tournament organizer's still in business. I'm still casting as a full-time commentator. There's got to be something being done right there. So, why can't we do the same thing for Rocket League? I think people just need to do a good business mindset to try and sort it out. Anyway, how far should name value carry you if you've got no results? Now, here's where we're going to be a little bit sort of a bit back and forth with this one because, yes, name value, I think at this stage and the way things have worked out, it is probably the most valuable thing at the moment. But then you've got the argument of why does this team deserve to have this seeding? You know, you bring back just to bring back your Greasy Meister example, for example. We've not seen that 3-man unit play in an official match. We haven't seen them get any results against prolific bubble players, any sort of RLCS talents or RLRS talents. Like they've formed in the last week alone. Oh, sorry, last 2 weeks, excuse me, alone. So like you're looking at that like. How do we rate those guys versus some of the other players that have prolific sort of names behind them? You know, we mentioned obviously earlier the Oscillon lineup. It's like how do you compare the Oscillon lineup versus the Greasy Meister lineup? Because we haven't actually seen what these two teams can do on their own in the current landscape of Rocket League, and the only thing we're going off of is their past in teams like Complexity, RLAfterShock, Method, etc.
But naturally, you're going to rate them higher than, say, 3 bubble players that are coming together that are trying to get the spot. Let's just go for the example of... I'm literally going for the first one I've come up for with my boys coming back together, Fake Out, Econ, and Calzify. You know, how do you rate that? They played together in the past in multiple little lineups, but not as that trio from what I remember. So it's hard to rate them. But because they've got more results behind them, you're going to rate them higher. That's just how it is. That's just the natural, like the best answer, like we said to this, the best solution would just be to do, you know, offer past results of weeklies and stuff, but we don't have that. So that is just how it's done there.
Yeah, again, this whole topic is such a fucking difficult one to weigh up because you've got to take all these things into account when you do a regular seeding. But when you're missing one of those components, and one of those components happens to be the most important component, you've got problems. You know, like, you know, usually I would say that name value doesn't count for shit if you've got no results. And it's like, you know, the example I was going to make was there's a player that I know of called Manja Capra. He was an old school UK source player from Counter-Strike. But here's the thing, he hasn't competed in like 10 years. So it's like, here's the thing, back then he was amazing, but if you put him in Counter-Strike now, he'd suck. You know, it's just one of those things. It's like, usually that's my philosophy, but when you've got a situation where you have no fucking results to go off of for anybody, let alone just for that one player or for these few players, like, you've got nothing else. And it's an inherent problem, I think, with the qualification system of the RLRS and the RLCS, something that needs to be fixed, something that absolutely needs to be fucking just, you know, nuked from orbit and rebuilt. I know that
firsthand, Jay. I can remember back in summer doing the Rewind trials and that. And just before the very first one, we found out, because we hadn't used it in quite a while, that our API access to pull MMR, you know, for all the players and that had been revoked. Like that key had just been shut down. So then we had to do the trials, which is all bubble scene players, and even lower than that, you know, your guys that are in C3 having their first crack of RLRS. And we just had to do it all by name and what we had seen in them in the past. And like the best way for us, I think it was myself, Danny, and Sammy, just all going, you know, in a spreadsheet, right, this is what we think our seeding should be. And then you average it out because that's all you could do in a time.
At this point, that's probably going to be the fucking... Yeah. At this point, that's probably going to be the strategy they use to seed this bracket. And it's like, I'm not being funny. For a world championship bracket, that's not acceptable, is it? Mm-hmm. If there's a lack of results as a 3-man unit, I think we've kind of covered that. Does seeding even matter? Well, that's the thing, right? It does. It absolutely does. Imagine in a world...
Yes and no, it plays a factor. It's not everything, but it does play a factor, yes. That case.
Well, here's the thing, right? Imagine a world in which... Let's say, for example, 128 team bracket. Let's pretend, for example, that fucking... you know, Vitality and Reciprocity are in the same vein of the bracket. They're going to meet at the round of 16. And then that completely fucks up the chances for someone like Reciprocity, for example, to get, or whoever loses that match, it fucks up their chances of getting into the championship. That's one of the reasons why I hated the early sort of qualifying formats before the rival series came in, when we introduced the promotion relegation sort of system. That I hated that, and that is like a very extreme example, but it's the same theorem applied to the rest of the scene essentially, and. That's the issue that crops up when you don't seed things properly. That's why you'll see players oftentimes have a big moan about, you know, the way the seeds have gone. And for the most part, players can be pretty respectable because the teams because for the most part the seeds can be relatively reasonable, I think, in Rocket League, and that's I think a credit to the admins in their own right. But like, it's getting harder and harder to do every single season with the lack of tournaments we've got going on, and yet seeding matters more and more because like this is all we have essentially right now, Bacon.
Yeah, and Virtuoso just putting in chat there, saying that he knows teams get granted a top 4, 8 seed because of their name. At the end of the day, everyone hates it, but there is no other way to go about it. You take Fadeaway, for example, last season. They, for me, were one of the rare cases of they're worth that. Again, part of this question, how can you count the results when it's only 2/3 of the roster?
So I'm just going to cut you off there because Fadeaway, at the very least, they had a LAN result,
Yeah.
And a fucking really good LAN result at that. So like that's fair enough in that particular respect. But what team can you think of can take a clear first seed position in this next upcoming play-in or open qualifier or whatever that has that kind of support to it? There's no one. There's fucking no one out there
at the moment. Pretty much no. I don't think like I said, I reckon probably the Oscillon lineup there will get a top 8, so will Greasy and Ixo and all of that. They'll be top 8, so sure. I can say that off and be pretty confident that'll be what it is. But otherwise, no idea. We'll have to see, and that's why I'm really looking forward to the Rocket Kingdom upcoming cups. And do we have any nice cactus ones coming on the way?
I have no idea, actually. I haven't seen any as of right now.
So those are going to be so vital, and I can't wait to look at them because that is going to be just a clusterfuck.
That sums it up right there for the bubble scene. It's a clusterfuck. Yeah. But we're going to go one step on with this question because here's the thing. When you have a problem, I think you should fix it, Bacon. And that's what we're going to try and do here. Because there is one very simple thing that Rocket League esports can do, that Psyonix can do to completely circumvent all the issues that John has highlighted here in this question. Can you guess what I'm going to say, Bacon?
What you're going to say is you put a board out, get a mouse and one little block of cheese on every single bit of the board with a team name underneath it. And the mouse goes around from first to last, and that is how we do seeding, because that, for me, makes just as much sense.
Fuck you, Bacon. Fuck you. That's not what I was going to say.
What were you going to say then, Jay?
Right. Let's have a third step on the ladder.
Streams, yes. We have RLCS marbles. And we do it in order.
Off, just fuck off. I'm gonna
plays the most ambitious crossover in history.
RLCS Players Play Operation.
I'm going to end you at LAN. I swear to fuck. What I was gonna say was a third tier or a fourth tier below the RLRS, because at this point we fucking need it.
In the bubble scene? What are you talking about?
There is nothing left for the bubble scene, right? There is nothing left for them at the moment. So at least if you have a third sort of step on the ladder to give players an opportunity to develop, then we have something there for someone. We have something that we can use for seedings like that. And even then, you can implement a promotion system.
Sense, Chief.
Yeah, it would. That is true. It would make too much sense at this point. Because the thing is, again, at this point we need some sort of Psyonix support, because we've got no more independent sponsors, we've got no more independent tournament organizers. This is the most obvious and easiest way just to circumvent all the problems of the play-ins. Just give us one open league where the top teams can go through that, or you can go down the ESCA route of expanding as time goes on to create what they actually have 5 steps on their league table. That to me seems like the most ideal way to do things, because that way a basic player can develop from step to step to step and eventually make it up to the championship series. It's not supposed to be like a one and done solution essentially for the entire bubble scene, because there's so many players there. It's like they've got no way to compete. And I know what Virtuoso was saying there in chat, that it takes too long to get into the RLCS, but that's not the point. It's going to take you a season anyway to just go through the RLRS. There's no guarantee you'll even make it into the championship series. And even then, there's shortcuts around that. If you're such a good fucking player that you can just dominate the shit out of everyone and solo carry your way through the Rocket League Open series, for instance, then you'll get picked up. Like, it's simple as that. You know, that's the beauty of having the relegation and open circuit, because every team needs to make the harsh cuts in order to try and bolster their whole, you know, team form into what would end up being the best team that they can possibly do, you know? And again, I have vouched for that ESCA Premier system because I think it's such a legit system, even to the point where ESCA have actually given shortcuts to some of the notable teams that might not fall into the advanced areas, you know. And with that whole infrastructure being in place, once you hit the advanced position, which is like the third tier down from the ESCA system, that's where sponsors start coming in. If you can define it to the point where that is the tier that sponsors start coming in, then Rocket League is bolstered from the top down. Like, you know, we can't even support some really good salaries for teams in the rival series. The championship series is so top heavy. It's like you compare that to where things are going on in Counter-Strike, and it's like, you know, it seems like the obvious thing to me.
That's it. You add a third, maybe even fourth tier, and then you just solidify rival series to having orgs in it, because there's the security there that, oh, they can drop down for a season and maybe come back up. There's space and room to shuffle about, whereas what keeps a lot of orgs away is that if you're in the bottom, you know, 4 now, which has helped quite a lot, but if you're in that bottom 4, you're out and it's not worth having the team. Players are quite happy to sign 6-month contracts because, you know, that means they'll get paid whilst in the rival series, and that's the game. But it's still just like, you want a bit of security for, say, 18 months and be there in the second division.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's the next obvious step for me. And again, it circumvents the issue of having a one-day qualifier system for a world championship league, which is stupid. It circumvents the issue of all these seeding issues, the fact that we haven't got enough tournaments to base seeding off of. You know, this is the way forward. You know, if Psyonix aren't going to sponsor small community tournaments and they're going to actively shut down anyone that tries to break the mold, time to step up the plate, boys. You've got to put something in there. This is the easiest way of doing it. No. It's not like you even have to like continuously sponsor. 10 grand for an RL Open series, done. It's how they do it in the ESCA. You know, 10 grand for like the lowest level of league is, sorry, not even that. 5 grand for the lowest level of league, and that's like a whole season. That's not even a weekly or a monthly. That's a whole season right there. 10 grand for ESCA Advanced. That's where the big where you can start getting some decent sponsorship and such. And it's like, again, I'm not saying implement all 5 of those steps immediately, but let's start expanding it further down because we have not got anything else. We need it.
Just to put on a point from Virtuoso as well, just saying there that you shouldn't be able, in RLRS, you should be able to live off your org salary plus a part-time job. RLRS, I personally think, should be a minimum wage, like equivalent. And then so that you're focusing on it pretty much full time, and then anything below there, yeah, you've got to have a full-time job or a part-time job, still in uni, whatever. That's the way that the structure needs to be if Rocket League is to grow, because RLR, like the amount of players at the moment is so large in comparison, and the abilities of players so large in comparison to what could be churned out and what is required for it. The problem is that Rocket League has been so slow in its growth that the players and number of capable players has outgrown what you're given. It's basically a high demand, but you're given like, low stock, high demand. Thank you. Yeah. High demand, low stock. And that is a big problem at the moment, where you want it always on par with each other. And yeah, Psyonix is just not supplying that at the moment.
Yep. The economies are not to scale, and you know, I feel like with the player base that we have in Rocket League, you could easily support a 3rd tier. You know, it would just work really well. But that's our thoughts on it. Thank you again, John and Jens, for your questions on the mailbag. Again, if you do want to get involved and ignite the interesting discussions that we tend to have in those segments, and it's !Discord in the Twitch chat, and of course the Discord links are available in the show notes and video descriptions of the audio and video versions of the podcast. Right. It's main feature time, Bacon. The rumour mill has been turning, motherfuckers. Even throughout the entire New Year, we kept getting sources coming to us saying, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? I need to tell you about this. This is the thing that's going down. This player is trying out with this team. This team is looking at that player. This, that, a whole lot of that. We can confirm this. We can't confirm that. Blah, blah, fucking blah. We're going to break down some of the information that we've received as of late. Pending approval from certain sources Yeah, and when, just to also recap, also from last episode, we have seen only a number of things change since that point. So there's only a few things to really focus on here. We're not going to talk about any of the things that haven't moved, but all the ones that have, we most certainly will.
This evening, but that's fine.
That's fine. No, it's all right. Don't worry. It's a slow start to the year, but the fact we're able to pump out an hour and a half, I think that's already pretty good. Anyway,
it's a compromise to the 3 hours.
It's a compromise to the 3 hours that we did last episode.
Jesus, that killed me. Yep. Right.
Yeah, let's start with the Discombobulators. Hello, Virtuoso. Welcome to the chat. This screenshot obviously made the rounds on Reddit.
Trolling so hard in this, dude. We hate you for it, but it's fine.
He's been fucking trolling everybody else, mate. That's what he's been doing, because this screenshot obviously did the rounds, and everyone was like, Discombobulators going to Luminosity. Everyone, Discombobulators going to Luminosity. Luminosity entering fucking Rocket League. It's confirmed. Easy as that.
There was the handshake gift today with a dude from
That is the biggest fucking bait I have seen in my life. They are not going to Luminosity. Like, I have a source that has told me a different organization. I can't reveal it because it might reveal the source. But we've gone to that org and it's just
been shut up.
The organization themselves have played their cards incredibly close to their chest. I haven't asked for an official comment, but I did talk to one of my sources from within that particular organization as soon as I heard about it. They have been very slow to comment, and I think someone's keeping them suppressed on that particular end, but. It's not Luminosity. It's not even the same region of basis. Actually, it's kind of surprising, actually. Now, when I first heard about it, I was like, fuck off, no way. Fuck off, no way.
Because Luminosity, from what we did here before this, is that they are looking for a team, or they're looking at the prospect of it anyway. So, because a lot of esports orgs are looking at Rocket League and just being there like, is it viable? We don't know so much. So here, when we first heard it, was like, oh, that's a possibility. And then you were just too fucking obvious, Virtuoso. Come on. You don't just do that. The thing which I think caught most people off, they saw this and thought it was Luminosity following the Discombobulators account, when it was just Discombobulators following Luminosity. That don't mean shit.
Yeah, exactly.
It just shows who doesn't really look at things properly.
In fairness, I made this fuck up as well, because I fully bought into the hype until I actually started to do my own digging. Right, I fell for it. So I got burned initially, but I was like, it's okay, just apply some water and just cool it off. The burn can heal, but for me, I'm gonna make it right. And I will say right now that considering the timings of all the information we've been getting, considering that the announcement was stalled, because it was supposed to be announced today, considering the announcement was stalled ever since that point, officially on Twitter, by the way, I'm pretty confident that this is this organization that they're going to go. I so fucking wish I could say it. I'm not going to put out anything that I can't confirm for 100%, but... Yeah, I know what you guys are playing at.
Yeah, we have said that we're not going to... put out that org, just that it's quite interesting. They're going through a very strong rebranding at the moment, so that's quite cool.
I'm excited. So many I will say, I will say the fact that the Discombobulators are getting an organization is still a fucking feels good, man. Like, it doesn't matter to me who they get signed by, but I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. They fucking deserved it. They came from nothing, and now they're in the championship series. Now they're about to get a salary. Fuck yes. Just fuck yes, okay? Mm-hmm. So best of luck with that, boys. I'm looking forward to when my suspicions are confirmed in the next week or so. So let's move on from the big feels good to the big clusterfuck. FC Barcelona, holy shit. There was a point last week where we just got we got sort of like our all of everything together, and our recap was just, this is a clusterfuck, because it absolutely is. It absolutely is.
What is going on at FCB? This was like, first it's Roniki's on the out, and it was like, nah, he's fine, he's staying. Bluey's on the out because both Roniki and fucking Devo hate him. So it's like, what the shit has gone on for everyone just suddenly to be firing shots at each other? You don't know.
Am I supposed to be showing the screenshot?
I mean, not yet. Hold on to it. Hold on to it.
All right, you tell me the cue.
Sorry. But yeah, no. So the way that we understand things right now is, at the very least, Bluey is off. I said obviously that I think I think that that is the best move I think we can do because like Bluey was the problem in my opinion last season, and we're in a situation where we can almost pretty much confirm it, especially with the fun little images that were being posted up by Drama with the FC Barcelona with the blue in it gone. Like at this point, I'm pretty confident in making a statement about that Bluey is pretty much out of it at this point. The question, of course, Bacon, is who's going to be replacing him essentially.
Well, the team doesn't really want to improve on the ego side of things. Now, Tractor, release the image. Let it be known. Waiting for it to come up on screen.
It's fucking obvious. Like again, this is also posted by Drama Arla. This also lines up with the sources that that came to us and talked about this. But holy shit, what a terrible idea this is. This is fucking stupid.
Yikes. Like, when you've just got, like, I just feel sorry for Devo these days. I know he's a bit of a lazy little shit, apparently, but, like, he's just sitting there, and you've got Ronicky coming on in, you just, like, got rid of Blue, you're bringing in Flakes, who is so egotistical. It's just, this is just a hotbed for disaster, but it'll be a fun experience watching it next season, so I'm happy. I am so happy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping this is the redemption arc for Flakes, though, you know? Like, if he can sort out, get mature, don't be such a little shit.
Well, here's the thing, right? Fucking FC Barcelona's problem always was the fact that they had a bunch of star egos that just stepped on each other's toes all the time. They cut off rotations, caused a bunch of issues and risks within the team and from behind the scenes aspect. And obviously in the server, that really did show to the point where FC Barcelona were, in my opinion, the worst team that didn't get into the relegation zone last season. Like they looked awful considering
ever to get MVP.
Yes, that too. And just Flakes coming in for Bluey, it's a like-for-like sort of thing, Like, Flakes certainly I'd consider to be a star player, and with the egos involved, with the fact that I could also say like-for-like skill, like-for-like ego, this seems like a very bad idea, guys, Like, maybe there's something behind the scenes that I'm not aware of. I've never actually spoken to Flakes personally. I think he's a really good talent, but it's like, I feel like FC Barcelona would have gone so much better if they picked up Scrub. And that was one of the intimations that we got as well. We heard that, there were tryouts with Scrub and FC Barcelona, and it's like, that seems like the best thing that could have happened to this team, because like Scrub isn't a star player. He can play a bit more of a backup, supportive, like saving defensive role essentially.
So yeah, there was the thing that Scrub had the pick of two teams that he wanted to move on to, whether it was Barcelona or another one we'll get on to later. But then there was also, because we'll slightly look at the next point in this as well, Yukeo was apparently on the bench. Dig weren't quite so sure about this. Yukeo apparently tried out a little bit of Barca, didn't quite like it, so stuck with Dig. So that's a little bit odd that maybe that was his own choice and Dig weren't too sure. Like, I don't know what is going on with players, because we've said this before of how it's very odd that players don't talk to their orgs first about, moving plays. It seems almost, and this is backed by what just happened over in NA with Cloud9 of, we just don't want that player on the roster anymore. And that player still has a contract, It's a little bit odd just of how this is all combated, but yeah, it looks like Flakes going on, like I just said there. Yukeo sticking to Dig.
I mean, in fairness with the Dig thing, like, they had a really good thing going for them last season, especially with the World Championship. Like, it took a bit of time to get going, and I think that is... It redeemed, yeah. Like, that's the thing. Like, whenever Yukeo gets put into the situation of a roster move, he's shit for like the first season and a half or so, and then he actually becomes really good again. It happened in Dignitas in Flipside the first time around. It happened in Dignitas for the second time around, and here we are, another situation where if he had gone to FC Barcelona, I think that also would have been a bad move, because it takes a lot of time apparently for him to get settled down and really start performing. Because Yukeo was the guy at the World Championship for Dignitas. It's like, if a team wants to pick him up, they need to understand that he's going to be a long-term investment. He's going to be the guy that won't win you the championship in a season or 2 seasons. He'll be the guy that you can rely on once you've built around him, and once you've found a place for him and a play style that works for him, then he will be the guy, essentially. Like that's the thing about Yukeo. And I think that because obviously the fact he was on Dignitas, the fact that this rumor came up and the idea of him leaving Dignitas was on the cards or on the table, like that like that whole thing really worried me with Yukeo. The fact that obviously it seems that he's going to be staying is a bit more of a you know. What am I trying to say
It's the
here?
safe choice, and it's the one which Dignitas really should be making. Because if they can keep going with that current form from LAN, I know it's LAN, but it was also, you got to think, the regionals, that they just need a fire under their arse. They need proper real stakes to, keep them going. And hopefully they can carry that on over into next season, because Dig were looking dangerous. I mean, coming out, what is it? Joint third, fourth at LAN is scary strong.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go. Flakes on FCB, Yukeo staying on Dig, Bluey. Actually, no, we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's talk about Mousesports next, because earlier, I think it was today, or was it yesterday? I can't remember. I think it was today that Scrub had a little bit of a Twitch moment. Mm-hmm. And he said something. He said something like, "Oh, me and Speed have been killing it lately," which was just in guys.
I meant Flamey, the guy I'm playing with. Later on, he was like, "Oh, I didn't send that. It was oh, I can't say that." It's just he's trolling, but at the same time, like, I get it. But realistically, this is where orgs get pissed off with players and want you to bloody shut the fuck up and let them make their announcement because they're big, media shits. I don't know.
Here's the thing. The Cook slip, I could see that was bait. I don't think the Speed clip was a bait. I think he legitimately slipped up there. That's what it feels like to me. I just can't believe I can't believe someone would do that. Again, especially because we were also hearing that Scrub Killa had the pick of the litter, that he was looking at Mouse, Dignitas, FCB, etc. So to have that sort of thing just come out, it's
that was one of
at
the
this
big
point you're
reasons
basically
UK would have been kicked off of Dig, would have been Scrub replacing him.
Well, I mean, at this point, I have no reason to doubt the fact that Scrub Killa is going to Mousesports at this stage. A lot's out. They have a new roster. They have a new place in the roster. This seems like it's the most likely sort of move for Scrub. At this point, FCB is almost confirmed. So it's like, yeah, Scrub to Mousesports. Why not at this point?
And I mean, Scrub to Mousesports is pretty much confirmed from what we've heard from our sources. That should be all signed off and all that shit. But there was another player trying out with Mouse, which was quite interesting, we thought. Anyway,
this terrified me. This one actually fucking terrified me.
Why would it Go on, announce who it is, but then tell me why that would terrify
we got info that Tadpole was trying out with Mousesports, and I'm just there like, no, not again, please. Not another RLRS season for Rick's Burrito. I was like, please, no.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I just fucking couldn't, man. I just... There's a part of me that died inside as soon as I heard that. Again, it was only a scrim. And it seems based off of the Scrub Killer stuff that's not going to happen. So thank Christ for that. I don't know if Tadpole would have been the right fit, though, for Mousesports. So I feel like Mousesports also dodged the bullet in this one.
Yeah, so for me there, it sort of felt more, give it a try, because that old connection between Tadpole and Speed, but Scrub is by far the superior choice. And this is quite a funny one, because I saw on the subreddit of people saying, I don't understand this. For Scrub, this is a downgrade. Scrub didn't have a fucking choice. He's gone with the best team he could, because you got to think, Scrub and Cooks here on the same side is going to be nuts cool. I can't wait for that. And I hope they both run Batmobiles this coming season, because that'd be so crazy to see on the pitch. But then also throwing Speed, Chief Ball Chaser King himself. This is going to be a dangerous roster purely because I've got no fucking idea how the rotations, how the formation is going to look at this one. Of course, you know Kirks is going to be staying back in net and then doing those big lunges downfield like he does. But the whole sort of formation, Mousesports could come up with a sort of new, I'm going to say, pseudo meta as such, because if Rocket League, you don't really get massive metas, you just get minor little changes which adapt over time. But this could be a small little adaptation, which is quite cool.
Yeah, and again, I think Mousesports are going to be great. It seems that Tadpole's going to be staying on Method, and I think that's where we'll move on to next here, Bacon. Kind of like the final sort of like big team we wanted to talk about in the rumours and rosters.
You posted this twice. It's quite funny.
Have I? Oh, my bad. Excuse me. Ignore that tract. I'm just going to remove that. Something we should clear up first about Method.
Put that first there.
Yeah. At the end of the year, at the end of the year last year, it was heavily intimated to us that Method were looking to drop the team if they didn't make it to RLCS this season. This past gone season, we should say. As far as we've been aware now, that is no longer the case. And apparently Method are going to be sticking with this lineup going into Season 9.
So the reason why we thought they'd drop them is that the only player to have a contract past the end of the year was Tadpole, the new sign. Rick's Ronde and Burrito B's contracts would have ended up right at the end of the year. So we're there going, this might just been, Method, saving out, or Tadpole's a smart lad. I could imagine him saying, no, I want a minimum of 1 year on my contract, just to save himself on that. But from what we've been told, no, Method are investing in Rocket League. They're going to update Rick's contract, apparently, with another 6 months. And it seems Rick's Ronde has finally enlightened himself to what everyone's been saying for the last 2 seasons. And unfortunately...
Enlightened himself?
Yes, unfortunately for Burrito B, he's paid the price. And quite simply announced that it is LFT with a clown emoji. So,
yeah, I mean, Trax, you can bring this tweet up on screen real quick to sort of like show it off.
Just literally, it's a clown emoji.
It is literally just tweet. That. It's brilliant. And I think a lot of people can read between the lines on this whole thing. Like, the thing that we were saying is that he's got to be the one to go. Like, that's what we thought throughout the last 2 seasons, essentially. Just like the performance wasn't there. He was the one making all the mistakes. It just felt like it was the right move, and it felt like, especially with the recent ball chasing leaks that they were trying out with Monkey Moon. It felt like, okay, this is finally going to happen, and it felt like the Monkey Moon was in a prime position actually to take to move into the team as the new third. Au contraire. Au contraire. I mean, you can bring up this little this little image tractor. You can have a look at this.
I only whipped this up on GIMP earlier today. It's not the hardest thing to do, but yeah.
I'm disappointed the tractor didn't pop it up immediately on the screen because
we're quite sad. I even put in chat now, tractor,
now, do it.
Oh, what? The blue one?
Yes.
Oh, tractor!
Come on, tractor, please get with the fucking program. There you go. There you go.
Hint of what our sources have said, that Bluey is now signed and confirmed for Method. Jay. This, for me, is the start of my favourite timeline, and I want to say arc in the RLRS career, with Bluey being the gatekeeper. He can't get up to RLCS.
Can I just say the timing on that is brilliant, because guess who's just joined the chat? Oh,
hey,
dear.
Rick, how's it going? But yes, that is what we've got. But I love this purely because of the whole sort of like story arc and that media appearance of Bluey being a bit of an arsey git. It gets kicked out of the RLCS because no one can stand his ego, for example, but he's such a good player that will just continuously keep churning through RLRS teams, getting them promoted. That, for just the storyline's sake, is beautiful, and I love it.
Bluey's just had the RLCS curse, apparently. He PSG didn't work out, so he went on to Savage, and then Savage hasn't worked. Well, in the long term, I should be specific, right? It didn't work out in the long term, and he went on to Savage, and then Savage made it through RLRS, smashed it out the fucking park, made it up there, and that's not worked out. Now here he is on Method. Is he just eternally supposed to be the guy that carries teams up to the Championship Series level and then drops back down to the Rival Series, or reforms a new team to kind of make it back into the Championship Series after the fact? Because honestly, this is the kind of move that I think that if Method, if Bluey goes to Method, then this is going to be the move that puts them up finally at long fucking last.
Scary team, I think, for RLRS.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at my only thing now is Rix and Tadpole just have to somehow harness Blurry and just like, you know, get him in control, learn how to use him best. Because you look at like Barca in the last season and just how he was half rotating, cutting up the rest of the team. They've got to come to an agreement, some way of doing that. Otherwise, like, they'll still make it to RLCSIC through the like automatic promotion if they get first, or they should be good enough to you know, compete in the second and third slot, you know, the playoffs. But yeah, there's 2 weeks, or actually a bit more, because until the plays, but like a month, a little bit, yeah, about a month for them to get things in order. Should just be enough. And I'm excited to see how this team goes. Yeah. I like it.
I honestly believe that this could finally be the move. This could finally be the one.
From Method,
you know,
yes.
Like I have loved the legacy that Rix and Burrito have built, but the time for change was now, and I think that this is the change that's going to absolutely fucking cement them in the championship series. Like, Tadpole's got experience. He's a fucking good player. Bluey's got experience. He's a fucking good player. Rix has got experience on LAN and online. He's a fucking great leader. I think there's a lot that's going for this team. There's a lot going for this team. Like, I think a lot of people will be very, very willing to underrate exactly how much is going for them. Probably because of their own biases and the egos that are involved, and with the obviously the stigma around Rix being essentially the longest player that's been stuck in the rival series ever. Essentially, you know, like just season on season, requalifying or just staying within that top 4 rather than getting to that top 2. You know, I think that this team with this move are now. They're in the fucking driver's seat. They've been the fucking driver's seat.
Method, when people have been bashing them for being subpar, have been so consistent at staying up. They can only get better with this move. And I think that's part of like why Method is sticking with them, is they're confident that this is only going to be good. And like we said, from the rumors, it's only a short extension for another season, but that's what you get in RLRS anyway. And here, like, Rix, you're in chat saying that. Oh, I love that so much. But yeah,
feel free to confirm or deny at any point, mate.
We hope this works out for you, dude, because we think
absolutely,
this is
man. Like,
I've
been. Here's the thing. I've been a fan of Rix Ronde since Reason Gaming. You know, like, I legitimately believe he's got potential. I legitimately believe he can be in the RLCS. So I'm looking forward to season 9. I'm going to have my fucking. No. Go through my fucking tweets. Go through my fucking tweets from Gfinity Elite Series Season 2. I was backing him, and I was backing Rix. I was backing them all the way when they were Reason. So I absolutely, I think that I stand by what I said. You know, the last season was rough. Season before was a bit less so. This is the season. This is going to be the fucking season. And I think that basically covers all of our sources and all of our leaks, Bacon. I think
it really does.
Yeah, I think that's our episode done. I think that is our year opened.
Drama alert stolen my picture. Thank you.
You're going to see them.
Taking that from us. Yep. I am going to be on the phone. That is my edited intellectual property.
Have you been fucking infringed on copyright? Is that what you're saying, Bacon?
I mean, we're going to be casting some of the drama alert weekly, so we'll let it slide purely because work.
Fair enough. All right, then. Well, there you go. Episode 58, over and out. We are done with all of the big shit that happened over the New Year and over the Christmas period that we weren't able to cover between our Final Shock and today. Oh man, what a few bombshells we've dropped today, Bacon. I feel like there's going to be some fun little things happening on Twitter and Reddit when things calm down and the podcast has gone live.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone's going to be like shouting out some of the shit we spew on here. I always wonder that.
Hey, look, we're still up for nomination, right? I think. Do you know what? Well, once this gets confirmed, I'm going to be very happy with the work we've done this year already. So there you go. Podcast done. That's going to be it from us here today. Of course, I'll do the regular sort of plugs. In particular, as well, if you're watching and you're new, we are up for nomination on r/RocketLeagueesports for a community group project of the year. There's probably Wikipedia probably going to win it, but if we can get second place, I think I would be very happy with what we did in 2019.
Just spare your vote for us.
Just spare your vote. Spare your vote with confidence, knowing that you can boost a community project that's busting our asses, and you can also go ahead and just be absolutely sure that Wikipedia will still get its just desserts. Because honestly, even I agree that they should fucking win. But don't tell that to Lucas. Don't tell that to Lucas. Anyways, let's plug the regular shit. Follow us on Twitter at RLAfterShock. And on Twitch, twitch.tv/RLAfterShock. If you're an audio listener or a video listener that is looking to get involved in the podcast live, you can join the Twitch chats and get involved and have a little bit of a chat with us live in the show. And if you want to have a chat even more than the Discord, is !Discord in the Twitch chat. And on the show notes and video descriptions of every single episode of the podcast, click in, send us mailbags, get involved in our discussions. We've got community nights coming this year. We've got even more prediction games for when the first week of the Championship Series kicks up and over. And of course, if you're listening live on Twitch, you want to take the podcast on the go, we've got the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and 7 other audio distribution platforms, as well as the video version that gets archived on YouTube. Just search for RL Aftershock or go to anchor.fm/RL Aftershock to find your favorite platform or request your favorite way to listen. Bacon, I think we started off the year on a bombshell. Have you got any final words and any final explosions to make before we get out your
I guess it's just a shout out and a big thank you to the Subpar lads for their community and charity stream they did the other day. And of course,
I completely forgot about that.
Over $7,000 raised for Special Effect and Mind charity. So a big shout out to everyone that tuned in, got involved in that, because it's awesome that the Rocket League community is doing some good shit.
Absolutely, man. So I think the community is fucking awesome. I think you're right. And I think we're going to get out of here. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you back. Thank you for watching and listening, actually. And we'll see you back here next week for even more of the Aftershock.